Welcome back to Buckeye Talk. Stephen Means, Andrew Gillis coming to you with some breaking news. Ohio State lost five-star recruit, number 12 player, number 3 defensive lineman Justin Scott out of Chicago, who has flipped from the Buckeyes to Miami. And Andrew, we have to find a way to talk about this in a way that is complicated, I guess, for a lack of a better way of saying it. The facts are Ohio State lost a five-star recruit. And regardless of how you feel about his talent level and how quickly he can impact the program on the football field, when you just hear the words Ohio State lost a five-star recruit, it's going to burn, especially right now given what this fan base is dealing with. But I think this recruitment brings up a bigger question mark about Ohio State and its recruiting efforts, in that we are now dealing in a new world of NIL, and it's a part of it. It's not going anywhere. And how much of this decision feels like it was an NIL related conversation?
Well, if you go look at On3 broke this news, by the way. So we do want to give credit to them for having this first. On3 broke the news, and whenever they do this, there's always a recruitment graphic that comes with it. And there was a pile of money next to Justin Scott, a literal pile. This isn't an exaggeration. There's a literal pile of money next to Justin Scott. So I think you get an idea of what happened here. Now, I do know he did like Miami. He did like what they had to offer. It is Miami. The weather's nice. It's in Florida. I understand they haven't been super competitive on the field, but the brand is still kind of strong. It is a nice place to play college football. Like, you don't want to besmirch Miami too much, because when you throw the U up, for a lot of people, that still means a lot. And it's in Miami, and you can be on the beach almost 12 months a year. That's a great thing, and I get it. But I think we would be naive as to say, hey, this decision was maybe solely football. We probably would be naive to say maybe even that it was 100% NIL, because you're not just committing to a place that you hate if it's NIL related. You're committing for a couple of different reasons. So I think the answer is somewhere in the middle, clearly. But I think we can all kind of safely assume that we have an idea of why this went this way.
So that part of it, like I said, it's a complex conversation right now, and something that, quite frankly, we probably need to ask Ryan Day about, because back in 2023, before you joined the beat, it felt like, however percentage you want to put it at, Ohio State's class wasn't as good as it could have been. And maybe some of it was because of NIL. Maybe some of it was because players chose other options. But some of it did feel like it was NIL related. And there was a time when it felt like things had improved. Ryan Day had even said so much, and feeling like they were in a better position back in the spring when they were going on their run of commits. And then having a surprise commitment like Justin Scott kind of backs up that conversation, when that's a guy that was maybe out of the blue in terms of Ohio State's chances of getting them. But now they've lost two guys. Another top 60 recruit they lost, Marquise Lightfoot, never committed to Ohio State, but he was heavily favored to Ohio State going into the summer and ends up choosing Miami. So that's two defensive linemen, top 60 defensive linemen from the city of Chicago, who have ended up at Miami. Andrew, we're about 30 days away from signing day. With this loss, where does Ohio State look, and what could the potential defensive line 2024 class look like with Justin Scott moving on elsewhere?
Well, yeah. So right now you only have two in the class. That ain't gonna fly. You need more, and I feel pretty confident that they're going to get more. Number one, a name that probably won't inspire a lot of fans is he's a 4-star player, Carlin Jones. He just decommitted from Nebraska. He has an Ohio State visit on deck in the first 10 days or so of December. So he'll be on campus at some point very soon. He's a player that he's 6'2", 1.5, 285. He's from Texas. He's a player that you play him on the inside and you feel pretty good about. But again, he's 410 player in the country, at least according to 247 composite rankings. So it's not exactly gonna make fans feel better about losing a 5-star. The other one that could maybe not replace it, but it can get you close, is Mars Williams. He's a player who is currently committed to Florida. He is number 88 in the 247 composite rankings. He's out of North Carolina. Ohio State has been after him for a little bit. They've been trying to get him to come to Columbus. But again, he's a player who's 6'3", 270, top 100 recruit. He's a player that, if you end up in this class, like let's say you're able to flip Williams, and then you end up with Edric Houston, who's a 5-star player who's currently committed. You have Eric Mensah, who's a 3-star player who's currently committed. You get those two guys, and then you get Williams and Jones. It's not a class that looks as sexy as the one that they had. We're recording this at 8:30 at night. It's not as sexy as the one that you had 4 hours ago, for sure. It's not as eye-popping as the one you had 4 hours ago. So you do kind of want to walk fans off the ledge a little bit to say you still have a 5-star player. You still have the number 2 recruiting class in the country. That's kind of where you're at with Ohio State. You're not necessarily just dipping like crazy and you're at 16 now and Justin Scott was holding this class together. You've still got a lot of other really good players in this class. You have the number 1 player in the country in Jeremiah Smith. There are a lot of really good players in this class, and you can still go after some other defensive linemen in this class. So we'll see what the next couple of weeks brings. But for all intents and purposes, I should say, the hope is not lost for Ohio State on the 2024 defensive line.
So get the text 614-350-3315. As this information is coming out, we're sending it to your phone first. 2-week free trial, $3.99 after that. We're getting close to signing day here, which means a lot. You're going to be hearing a lot from Andrew over the next month here as we get closer to signing day. 614-350-3315. And since you're watching this on YouTube, go check out our full podcast, Buckeye Talk, anywhere you listen to podcasts.